As somebody who leads an organization that is engaged in 170 countries supporting sustainable development, I can tell you that on virtually every radar screen, on every monitoring and indicator graph, I can tell you we are not doing enough. We are losing biodiversity, we are losing ecosystems. People often don't realize what this means. The air we breathe, all the food we eat grows on soils. If we deplete our soils, we are depleting our capacity to grow food, not just to have trees and forests grow. If we don't manage our watersheds, our hydrological cycles, the water that we essentially maybe get out of a tap will not be there anymore. That is the consequence of losing biodiversity. And as UNDP, we are very keen to help governments and to help countries reset the economic incentives and policies that will allow an economy to thrive in the 21st century while protecting biodiversity. There is this notion of sustainable use of biodiversity. That has to be the central criterion for fiscal policy, for taxation, for land use planning, for investment in protected areas. If we advance on those targets, then there is some hope that maybe in the coming years we will finally reach a point where now 8 billion people can survive on this planet without destroying the very foundations of life, which is really the story of the last 100, 200 years.
So what can China help the UNDP to achieve the goals for biodiversity?
I think, first of all, the partnership that UNDP has had with China over the last 40 years is already a demonstration of where we have worked with one another, both in sharing ideas, experiences, best practices, but then also contributing to the design of national policies in China. When China leads in its own national development planning on biodiversity conservation, on restoring ecosystems, on addressing deforestation, it is not only helping China's national sustainable development pathway, it also has global implications in terms of its impact on biodiversity, loss of species, carbon emissions. So we have had a very successful partnership. I think as we move forward, we obviously welcome China's engagement also in the way that it will work with the Global Development Initiative, aligned to the outcomes of not only the 2030 Agenda, the Sustainable Development Goals, but also the outcomes of COP27, now the COP15 Biodiversity Convention, because China is a partner to many developing countries today. Applying best practices in this partnership, in this cooperation, I think will significantly also assist developing countries in addressing their own development transitions and development investments that they need to undertake in this field. And I think in that sense, both at the national level, as China implements its own strategies, but also in the international cooperation, it can play a very significant role.